3 years ago, Edie got the opportunity to be congratulated by his friends, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, as well as the leaders of the city-states of Eorzea, for driving out the Garlean Empire. Then 2 years ago, Mathia got a one-way trip to the 18th floor to meet a man and his friends who helped to make this game possible. Then last year, Rika had the opportunity to reenact the Calamity as part of a puppet show and gained a standing ovation for her efforts. So, logically, now that we're in Stormblood, you can see where this is going, because we made it once again to that time of the year, known as the Rising. And as you can see, not only are the fireworks out, but so are various other ways that people are celebrating the momentous occasion of the rebirth of this game. And, of course, since we've already shown off 3 other Warriors of Light beforehand, it is only natural that we bring out the one that had the opportunity to drive out the Garlean Empire from both Doma and Alamigo. The leader of the Tales of Eorzea, the one and only Corinne Loren. So, with that in mind, greetings people of the world, Matthew back with you here at Novora Autism for this special bonus video of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. So, today we are starting off the new seasonal event which immediately follows the Moonfire Fair, The Rising. And it is an event that has certainly had quite a number of stark contrasts to the way it's been held over the years, and this year is certainly no different. And in fact, unlike previous years and other seasonal events where you've gotten the opportunity to take part and you did something for fun or you had to do something that involved combat, here you're going to have to participate in something else completely different that has never been done before in this game. Which means if you're having the opportunity to play The Rising in 2017 here in Final Fantasy XIV, congratulations, you get to be part of something really special. So, why don't you follow me, cause it's time to go and help out someone who Mathia helped out 2 years ago. Hiding behind this pillar here, if you're familiar with the 2015 edition of The Rising, you may be familiar with this Lady Lalafell named Nonora. And it's her who we have to speak with because she is going to kick off the 2017 edition of The Rising as well. Let's go ahead and speak with her to take on the level 15 challenge entitled A Reoccurring Bug. Nonora is seeking help in her search for a missing friend.
Your pardon, miss. You're an adventurer, yes? Perhaps you can help. During one of our previous celebrations of the realm's rebirth, a horde of mechanical bugs threatened to disrupt the festivities. We believed them exterminated, but it pains me to say that they've returned. When word of their presence first reached me, I knew something had to be done immediately, that the good people of Eorzea may pray and reflect on the events of the Calamity in peace. That is why I enlisted the aid of the Wandering Minstrel, who helped dispense with this mechanical menace once before. Sightings of the bugs ceased within a few days of his leaving Ul'dah, yet despite his apparent success, there's nary a trace from him. There's no answer from his link pearl, and now I fear some ill fate has befallen him. It would mean the world to me if you would go and search for him. If he is truly met with misfortune, I have the utmost confidence you can see him to safety. Thank you ever so much. When last we spoke, the minstrel was making for Nalfaka's wells. If the fates are kind, you will find some clue to his whereabouts there. Take care and stay safe.
Yeah, and in case you weren't aware, we nodded to say, yeah, we're gonna go and find the guy. So in order to find our Wandering Minstrel, who we have seen in the Rising on previous occasions, in fact, all 3 of them, we are going to make a beeline for Western Thanalan, which you then may be asking the question, why are you going east? Well, that's because the nearest Aetheryte is over here. And we can take it to go to the Gate of the Sultana. So we're gonna warp out to the Western Thanalan area. And he did mention Nafik as well, so let's go ahead and mount Corinne's trusted Kirin. And march out onto the sunset that is occurring within the Western Thanlan territory. Getting stuck on things as I'm descending down these stairs. So we're gonna run through here, through Scorpion Crossing, and then we're gonna make our way down into this ravine. So let's drop down. So yeah, you can see where everyone is, because they're all surrounding this teleportation ward. So we gotta go and click on it ourselves. Yeah, we gotta assess the thing and figure out what the heck is going on. This teleportation ward was created not long ago. Judging by the remains of the mechanical monsters strewn across the ground, this is likely the work of the Wandering Minstrel. Perhaps he's on the other side. So now we actually have to activate. And now we have to activate said teleportation ward. Don't know why it defaults you to no. Why would it default you to no? Well, in any event, we have found the Wandering Minstrel. Yeah, he'll be familiar with the other 3 characters I've sent to come help him out before. But he won't be familiar with this one. Until now. And so a quick turnaround. And he'll give us a look. An adventurer, by what twist of fate did you find your way to a place such as this? Well, allow me to tell you everything that you need to know. You came searching for me at the behest of Nonora. I see. She was right to send you, for I have indeed found myself in a most precarious position. I stumbled upon a nest of the bugs which threatened to spoil our celebration. No doubt they wish for us to think them extinct, waiting for an opportune time to catch us unawares. As I delivered the finishing blow to the last of these mechanical monstrosities, a trap was sprung and I was hurled into the void. When I awoke in this chamber, somehow stripped of my ability to use teleportation magics. Oh no! You needn't worry, my friend. Whatever magics were invoked have long since faded. Their effect on me, however, still remain. Considering these rather bleak surroundings, one might say I've been locked within a jail of sorts. But no jail is without its key. Upon inspecting this bug, I discovered there is in fact a command that, when uttered, will undo the magics which bind me here. To that end I thought to peer into the inner workings of its mechanical mind, or what remained of it, and secure my path to freedom. Much to my dismay, its mind was a maze, a complex labyrinth, the likes of which I have never seen before. For days I have searched to no avail. Were I to delve into the maze again, I fear I now lack the strength to return. But I think I now see a solution to my problem. Me? Do you suppose you could traverse the labyrinth in my stead? Having come thus far, you certainly seem more than resourceful enough to see the job done. Alright, I'll do it. Now, yeah, we have access to a cheap dungeon. When I first saw the name of it, I was just laughing so hard. But yeah, you can now access the cheap dungeon, examine the battered bug to delve into the maze, and discover how to set the Wandering Minstrel free. So yeah, we're going into a cheap dungeon. But yeah, when they say cheap dungeon, 1, they're not kidding, but 2, you're actually gonna like how this goes. So yeah, they're gonna give us a set of controls. There's no combat involved, which is why I'm not dressed for combat. But yeah, all you have to really do is use your move your D-pad and your L1 or R1 if you want to. You don't necessarily need to use L1 and R1, I just like using the D-pad. So, upon our arrival, you can see that this maze is actually rather unique. Because, yeah, you can see that the walls are actually textured to look like Allegan walls. Like what we've seen before in places like the Etherochemical Research Facility, which was in Azys Law. And you'll see that they line the entire dungeon. Now, here's how the dungeon works, as I'll explain. there is a set of numbers on the first floor, and then there's a second floor which has a set of letters. Those letters are important to how we solve the puzzle. Solving it, though, will be, as you can expect, a challenge. One thing you will need to do, and I stress this a lot, especially on the second floor, is that, yeah, you'll come across random messages. They have no bearing to what we're going to be doing. But yeah, check every possible path you can, because you never know when you might find some special surprise. Also, you might be, if you're familiar with Heaven's Ward, this music is familiar to you. Now, you'll come across every once in a while one of these Allegan nodes. You have to step into it in order to hit a mysterious code, or part of a mysterious code. And then once you've done that, keep traversing. Yeah, examine every possible path that you can find. And you'll see, as you reveal more of the map, more numbers are revealed. Now, this map will be random every time, as will the letters on the second floor. Because Skyla and I both did this together. We both did our own separate versions of this. And we ultimately ended up helping each other to solve the puzzle when it was all said and done. So yeah, we kind of helped each other out as a boyfriend and girlfriend should. Two people who are in love with each other. We find one. And let's start going down, because I also want to make sure I cover the left part of the map as well, because we did skip past a path at the very beginning. And I don't want to go down here yet. So yeah, you can go back. You can step back to get yourself further along. But yeah, more often than not, you really don't need to look at the screen where your path is. You all you really have to do is just look at the map and move yourself accordingly. So just weaving our way back towards the left side of the map. Get another node. Now let's see here. We've unlocked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There appear to be no other dead ends, so we are going to go ahead and move along. So yeah, these numbers actually have nothing to do with, well, in a way they do, but not in the way you might think. You'll find out why once we get down to floor 2. Now let's finally head down to floor 2 and start checking areas as well. Now here, you want to step into dead ends, because even if you don't see an Allegan node, stepping into it could possibly reveal a letter of the alphabet to you. Now these letters, these are what you do need in order to successfully make it to the end of this dungeon. Let's turn left first. Now don't worry about writing these letters down, because the game will keep track of them for you. The game will keep track of them for you, so all you have to do is just find your way around. And find as many letters as you can. Ultimately, you're trying to find every single letter that is here. But also keep in mind as well that you need to also keep track of where you're going, because you want to make sure you cover every dead end. Don't leave any dead end behind, because it's going to ultimately determine your success or your failure here in this. And as you can see, there is a give up option, which means that the dungeon will reset, but you'll still have to do a different code. So ultimately, there's no point in giving up. You might as well just keep trying until you A, make it to the end, and B, have uncovered all the letters. Okay, that's not the end yet. Which is good, because that means we can go this way and find more letters. Yeah, this is something that Scott and I both agreed we really enjoy. And so we definitely had a lot of fun with this. Okay, so that's gonna be the exits. We still want to make sure that we cover the dead ends and not leave any behind. Okay, so let's look at the map now. Still need to cover more on the right. So we'll just use the map to navigate. Revealed an N. Now let's see here. So we've uncovered that much of the map. And there do not appear to be any other dead ends. So let's go and see if we can make our way to the end. Alright, so now that we've accumulated all these letters, we have to create a password. The reason why they had those 7 numbers at the top on the first floor was to indicate to you how many numbers are, or how many numbers are in the password, how long the password is. So as you can see, it's 7 letters. Now, you're probably wondering, how the heck am I gonna come up with something to create this password? Well, what it is that, and Scott and I both came across to understand this as we were doing this, the password is going to be a 7-letter word that is synonymous with Final Fantasy. And we actually pass to each other the 14 letters. As you can see, there are 14 letters, so you have to choose 7 of them. And so we had to help each other to figure out what our passwords were. She figured out mine, and it was Chocobo. And I figured hers out, and it was Crystal. So we were ultimately able to help each other out to successfully solve each other's passwords and get through to the end. So in a way, we kind of beat each other's challenges for the other. So now I have to figure out a 7-letter password that is synonymous with Final Fantasy that can be made from these 14 letters. So give me a moment and I'm going to figure this out. Maybe you guys have already figured it out right now. If you have, before you see the answer, type it in the comments section below. I would like to see you guys pause this and then proceed to check out the, see if you can figure out this password for yourself. So if you're doing this, if you're watching this video right now, pause it. And then, once you've come up with your 7-letter password that is synonymous with Final Fantasy, type it in the comments below. Because I'd like to see if you guys figure it out before I show you what the answer is. So, give me a moment and I will be right back once I have figured out the solution. So, this one did certainly take a while, and I even asked Scala and her sister to help me out again. Also, before I show you what the answer was, because I did type it in the chat to Scala to let her know that I solved it, you can actually, if you're not feeling confident about the order that the numbers, or rather that the letters are arranged in, you can actually step back, then step forward again, and the game will rearrange the numbers just to try and see if it can help you out a little better to come up with the solution. So ultimately I did figure it out. So You would think that, given that this is a word that has to do with Final Fantasy, that someone in my position probably should have figured this out a lot sooner than it should have, because this one actually turned out to be pretty obvious. Because they put the second half of the title of this game as the password for Corinne. Yeah, this one was a lot harder than the Chocobo password that I had earlier and that Skyla had earlier with Crystal, but yeah. So blatantly obvious once you finally figure it out, huh? So, let's go ahead and make fantasy our password. So, having successfully figured it out, hey, the one we so we've succeeded. You return much faster than I anticipated. Though I suppose navigating dungeons is all a day's work for one such as you. I would offer you proper thanks, but first, let us quit this place. Once the bug's magics are dispelled, I should have no trouble teleporting us out of here. Now then, shall we be off? Indeed. And we shall do so with a simple strum of the minstrel's harp. But before we leave the dungeon itself, where did we end up? And who's behind us? You look pretty foreboding. Especially with that purple smoke that's covering you, as well as your friends. And then someone else comes to say hello. Thankfully, he's not masked and not covered in purple smoke. And he's like, back away, she's mine. If you remember the 2015 Rising, you might know who this is. The creator of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and its subsequent expansions, the one and only Naoki Yoshida. Greetings, Royal Right. You needn't be alarmed. This is a world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A fright of fancy conjured by your weary mind? Perhaps, or perhaps not. Like, what? At last, I come face to face with the great Corinne Raren. Truly, the fates are kind to afford me this opportunity. I wish to thank you personally for your continued efforts in Eosia. Its rebirth seems as only yesterday, yet it has been 4 long years. In that time, the clarion call of adventure has beckoned you up to the very heavens and back, and now it seems she would pursue the liberation of a nation as well. The realm is ever growing, ever changing, and it would not be possible without the deeds of you and yours, without your thirst for adventure. These past 4 years have not been without their hardships, though we have stumbled at times, fallen even, but together at your side we have endured. I am quite confident we will continue to do so for many years to come. You inspire us with your tales of adventure in Eosia, and it is our fondest hope they serve as a constant source of joy and wonder. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal. As he takes his bow, as do his creepy masked friends. Seriously, Naoki-san, why do you have so many creepy masked friends? Now, the time has come for its vision to end. Time for you to open your eyes, to open from this waking dream. Ever will we be watching over you and your deeds. Guide the realm onto peace and happiness, warrior right. Yeah, they go from absolutely creepy to waving us farewell. So yeah, once we finally get back to the territory of Thanlin, a new day has dawned. There you are. For a moment I feared you had been left behind. Words cannot well express my gratitude for... are you right? By your expression, I would swear your mind had but recently returned from some waking dream. Like, what? Like, no, that's not the case. Perhaps it is merely an after effect of the magics employed in our escape. At any rate, I must return to Uldar. None other is no doubt beside herself with worry. Would you care to accompany me? I would be glad to. So, let's jump back then to Uldar. As other people attempt to try their luck at the cheap dungeon in order to see if they can figure out the 7-letter password that they're gonna end up with. So let's hustle back to where the rising is taking place and to speak with Lenora. Yeah, that took us, that took Scala and I and her sister a good part of about 20 minutes to figure that one out. It actually took us less time to figure out our original passwords. So yeah, wouldn't you believe it, they make fantasy the 7-letter password that we needed to succeed. Okay, Nenora, we're back.
You've returned, but what of the wandering minstrel? Is he safe?
He is, actually.
Oh, thank goodness! Would you mind waiting with me until he returns? If you have arrived, he cannot be far behind.
And I think we'll also change back over to change the chat over again. So as Nenora and I are having this discussion, much later that in the day. Hello there, minstrel.
It is so good to see you hale and whole. You were gone for so long, I feared the worst.
My apologies, Nenora. I am ashamed to admit I was bested by the bugs. The tale of my rescue, however, is a far more compelling story. Yeah, let us tell you all about it.
Unbelievable! And the bugs are no more, you say?
All gone. Indeed, now the good people of Eosia may at last offer prayers to the victims of the calamity in peace, no longer burdened by the impending threats of those metallic monsters. Success! Hooray! Of course, this would not have been possible without your aid. On behalf of all those who would honor this day of remembrance, you have my sincerest thanks. My work here is complete. I believe it is time I continue my journey, recounting the heroic deeds of adventurers such as you in song. In fact, if I might be so bold, I will write a verse in your honor. And so, he shall do just that. Neath azure skies of sullen bright, stars soon gathered for its might, by the radiant truths lay bare, a nation freed from deep despair. As the heavens take a crimson hue, friends now gather old and new, by their deeds doth freedom ring, once more their hearts have cause to sing. Very nice. And as each of these rising events comes to an end, a series of fireworks must be shot into the sky. Let us all take a moment to remember those whose flames were extinguished too soon. The tragedies of yesterday must not be forgotten, lest we take for granted the gifts of tomorrow. Indeed we must. So many members of the Tales of Eorzea who have left us in the past. We wish were still with us, enjoying the experience of this game. As well as so many others who have played it as well. And yes, you may have noticed, unlike previous times that the Rising has taken place, where they count the number of years that the Rising has taken place by counting off the circle fireworks, the meteor fireworks, would count one for each year that passed, but not this time though. They changed it up a bit and made it a little more interesting. So, by virtue of completing this challenge, we gain the experience if you are not already at level 70, along with 444 gil, plus 2 brand new minions. The Wind-Up Least minion, most certainly not a repurposed Wind-Up Ida, and the Wind-Up Gosetsu minion, wanted by the Empire, and good little boys and girls across Ulthard. Not only that, we also gain the Stormblood Orchestrion role, so yeah, they're very generous to us this Rising. And thus, the 2017 edition has come to an end. Not only that, we've also unlocked the Cheap Dungeon minigame. Open the toy chest in any inn room to try your hand at this popular Eorzean pastime. And we also earned the achievement 4th times also a charm. So not only can you get that stuff, but if we come over here, as a new day has dawned, you can also come over here to the Rising Vendor, and they have also, as you can see, brought back some of the other popular items from past years, including the Meteor Shower fireworks, the Heaven's Cracker fireworks, that Cheyenne Miria is proudly demonstrating, as well as bottles of Realm Reborn red wine, and Magic Prism Meteor Survivor fireworks as well. Plus, as you'll see, she's also demonstrated the use of the new Flowers Magic Prism that can rain flowers all over you. Then, on top of that, there's also another new Orchestrion roll that can be bought for 5,000 gil, as well as a Rising Balloon. Not necessarily impressed with the way that they described it, but we can at least still buy one for our house. Yeah, they certainly went above and beyond for the 2017 edition of the Rising, in terms of what they can give you. They gave you certainly a lot of stuff. 2 new songs, 2 new minions to use. In fact, we could go over right now and I can put the Rising Balloon in our house. So why don't we go over to our free company house and do just that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and close this particular version of the Rising back at home. Yeah, fantasy of all things. But yeah, Skyla and I and her sister, we were just poring over that for so long. We could not figure it out at all. So upon arriving back at home, let's go ahead and put this inside. And heck, we could probably even listen to the new music that's been given to us. If it hasn't already been set by Skyla. In fact, that will be it right now. So, what do you say we put up this balloon for all to enjoy? Yeah, as you can see, it just floats in midair. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Oh, and okay, this Answers Reprise song that they're doing is a previous version of the theme music that they used for the Rising. It was the more melancholy version, but it's nice to know that this song is also made available to you if you play this version of the Rising. But yeah, they really did this 2017 Rising right, and I'm glad that they did. Plus we also have, as you see there, the Least minion dressed in her current motif. I think it's only fair that I bring out the Gosetsu minion also. But yeah, this list is getting so long. Where are our... Alright, there's the least one. Tataru's choice of Raymond for this lifelike recreation of Alamigo's newest heroine was, by no means, made with the sole intention of confusing the public into believing Lise was a dancer by profession. Honest. Ah, that's funny. And where's the Gosetsu one? Here we are down at the bottom. Crafted to honor Gosetsu, hero and leader of the oppressed peoples of far eastern Doma, this miniature replica is faithful down to the Blade Master's sword, Samonji. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, she's not kidding about that. This was the music that was played prior to the time that they decided, okay, since this is how this game is so bad, we might as well just blow it up and start over from scratch. They basically decided, okay, you know what, let's just basically Majora's Mask the world and drop a moon on it. But unlike Ida, or rather Lise, who seems a little more enthusiastic, Gosetsu seems to be a little more reserved. He just stands there stoically and just does his thing, and trying to be imposing and whatnot as a minion. But yeah, poor guy stuck on a deserted island with Yotsuyu? Like, that's the worst. Like, give him Grinwald. At least Grinwald will give him some comic relief. Oh, there he goes. Now he draws his katana and presents it to the people here. Yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is The Rising for 2017. It was certainly a unique one, to say the least. And we definitely had a worthwhile experience to participate in it. And to know that you can figure out all the other puzzles that are available to you in this game through the cheap dungeon that they've now made available to you. It's really cool that they've gotten that. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be... And it could be something else. You don't know that for sure. It could be something else completely different. But I guess we'll have to help out Asia as well as anyone else who tries their luck at the cheap dungeon. But for now, that's going to do it for the 2017 edition of The Rising. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this edition of this bonus video of Final Fantasy XIV. And so we'll look forward to seeing you guys whenever the next new content comes out, whether that be for All Saints Wake, the Final Fantasy XIV edition of Halloween, or if they come out with patch 4.1 and we get to take on a new main story first. Whatever it may be, we'll find out soon enough. So, until next time everyone, this is Matthew with Overall Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.